Welcome to my weekly self-important Magic the Gathering show. This is the final Baldur's Gate week, and depending on how long it takes me to talk about these 8 decks, I might have some bonus decks on the other side of this that I have to do from scratch. So let's start off with Alora, Artisan Thief. Let me grab the go. Grab that. We are super professional all the time. Let's just get all of those out of the way. So let's start with the background. Guild Artisan. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, you create 2 treasure tokens. Okay. Alora, Merry Thief has, whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so we have an unblockable, and also our commander, if it attacks the opponent with the most life, we get some treasures. Let's see what we did with that. We added in a Genji Glove. Equipped creature has double strike, but also we get multiple attack phases. Oh, beginning of the next end step, so that's fine. Okay, let's see what our card draw is. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card, and then we can pay 1 and a blue and tap to return a creature other than this one that we control to our owner's hand. For some reason, Squidward. Hold on, that was just me picking up my metallic back scratcher. That's when one or more creatures we control deal combat damage to a player, we draw a card. Enduring Curiosity, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's a creature, but if it dies, it comes back as an enchantment. Keyword dies, not is exiled. Tali Primal Storm. Oh, that's a steal other people's stuff card. Let's get rid of that. Trumpeting Carnosaur discovers 5. That counts as drawing a card. Actually, it's more like ramp, isn't it? My mouse is being weird. Or the whole site's being weird. I'm logged in as me. I am not logged in. Let's log in. You go away. It's more like ramp because it's playing it for free. But I can see why I left it in draw, because it's not like long-term ramp. But the Ancient Silver Dragon deals combat damage to whoever. We roll a d20, draw that many cards, and have no maximum hand size at the end of the game. Brotherhood Regalia and Psychic Paper make us unblockable. I believe all of these yes, all of these are additional combat steps, because if we're going to have to return Alora or some other creature to our hand, we may as well attack with them a bunch. 37 lands, Shadow Spear, Lightning Greaves, Mare's Shield, Neuralink Stealth Suit, that's Shroud, but also it can equip at instant speed with blue. Oh, can't be blocked. That goes up over here. And get rid of Atali because it steals, and we're not down with that. The Boots, Champion Helms, Darksteel Plate, Mythical Coat, Propaganda, Whisper Skull Cloak, and Hammer of Nazan. 17 pieces of ramp, but several that are probably because we want to do. Hopefully, we have stuff that it matters that we have treasure. Zorn gets us more treasure per treasure. Professional Facebreaker lets us impulse draw with our treasures. Guess there isn't a non-full version of that. Goldspan Dragon, Ancient Copper Dragon, Cavern Horde Dragon. We create treasures for each artifact that player controls. Balefire Dragon, when it deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. That is wild. Costs 7 though. Then we have the Meteor Golem and the Cityscape Leveler. Aether Spouts, Aether Eyes. The Chaosy stuff. Delayed Blast Fireball. Museum Mortars, Reality Shift, yay. Mantle Blast, Shattering Spree, Rapid Hyperization, Prolongify, any other sections down here. I think we're going to get rid of this Carnosaur as well. Oh, this thing can go over here. They're not really finishers, they're just extra attacks. But that gives us... Oh, that gives us 3 spots. Something... Did something go missing? Let us check. Or did I... Am I not counting my removal, the things that I removed correctly? No, I only removed 2 things. Whenever Ilarg, the Raised War attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapping and attacking. Return that creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. When it dies, it's put into exile from the battlefield. You may put it into the owner's library, 3rd from the top. Yeah, I must have never replaced that. That's how it goes sometimes. I don't like the gaining control, but I like Knuckles the Echidna. You know, if we have 30 or more artifacts at the beginning of our upkeep, let's just win the game. Oh, and mechanized production. Then you can create a token that's a copy of an enchanted artifact. Then, if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name, doesn't have to be the one that's enchanted, you win the game. And then that's 20 cards in hand. Let's see, he went into ramp. I actually want you over here. Win the game, question mark? Then we have one more spot. Just in case I have room for the there we go. But something else to do with our treasures. Or maybe more ways to draw cards. How many creatures do I have? 20? Yeah, let's make that last thing a creature then. And then let's go to the old fail state of creatures in EDH rec. Tully Priosaur, Ilharg the Raised Boar, Perforos, Trepanning Carnosaur, look at all that. Ancient Stone Idol. Oh, actually. Idol of Oblivion. What do you mean consider setting deck tags? It went into a place with deck tags. I don't know. This is another one of them. Looks like it's for one-on-one play and not for multiplayer, but you know. I mostly play Brawl on Arena, so you can probably tell because I don't carry too many board wipes. Yeah, that deck's fine. Control C. We'll start here. Feywild Visitor. Commander creatures you own have, when one or more non-token creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying. Okay. Oh, my nose has decided to be stuffy today. Ganax, Astral Hunter. Whenever Ganax, Astral Hunter, or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. Oh, I like that. Because it doesn't say non-token. And then we have the Storm Scale Scion, because that's funny. Flying, other dragons you control get 1/1, and it has Storm, which means you copy it, and since it's a permanent, copies of a permanent spell become tokens. You get to, you know, for each spell that that has been cast, I don't think it counts you. I think it counts everybody. Let's check to see if this explains Storm. Each spell cast before it. Yep, so it counts everybody. And then we have Twin Flame Tyrant. it's a damage doubler. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or permanent your opponent controls, deal double that damage instead. Okay. And then we have copy over here. You may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control with power 4 or greater, except it's a dragon and it enters other types. And it has flying. I imagine everything else in here is a dragon. But it is a 2-mana double blue clone. Wait, is that 2 mana? Yep, that is a 2-mana clone. It can't clone legendaries. But hey. Molten Echoes, when it enters, choose a creature type. Whenever a non-token creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a top copy. It gets haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step, so we get temporary extra dragons of non-tokens. Roaming Throne, that is the choose a creature type, enters as a chosen type. Triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Reflections of Litjara, choose a type. Whenever you cast a spell of the type, copy. It's creature type, by the way. Every time I said type. Then we got Skull Clamp to trade fairy dragons for cards. Idol of Oblivion to draw cards on turns we create fairy dragons. Kindred Discovery. It's kind of funny, but that it costs 1 more than like Coastal Piracy or that creature from the last deck. But this says not just, it says enters or attacks, not deals combat damage to a player. And it's choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. That's not a May though, so you can get in trouble. Skyline Despot. When this creature enters, you become a monarch. That's why it's in the draw card section, I guess. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the monarch, you get another dragon. It's a token, so it doesn't. So it gets you a treasure token. So that's cool. But it won't get you any more fairy dragons. The Agent Silver Dragon that draws us a bunch of cards potentially. Kindred Charge that copies all of our dragons for till the end of the turn. 15 non-basic lands, 20 basics. Same as the last one. It's just the same old things you'd seen in red and blue from me. Lightning Greaves, Swift of Boots, Mithril Coat, Propaganda. The Merchant of Marvels. You may cast dragon spells and artifact spells if they had flash. That's not protection. Although I guess it's protecting you somehow. Thunderbreak Regent. Whenever a dragon you control becomes a target of spell or ability opponent controls, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. Oh, there's another one like this that I hope is in here somewhere. It's probably that Wrathful Red Dragon. Then we have 24 pieces of ramp. What are you? Magda, she also spent 5 treasures to tutor for dragons. Dragon Lord Servant causes dragons to cost less. Dragon's Horde. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you put a gold counter on Dragon's Horde. And you can trade those gold counters for cards. This gives our dragons haste if we use this mana to cast them. Herald's Horn. What does this give them? Oh, we get to scry 2 if we use this mana on a dragon. Dragons are 1 less to cast. And it becomes a dragon if we control at least 3 dragons. This lets us rummage or add 2 mana to cast dragons. Or maybe create dragons. Dragons cost 1 less. Oh, and he can become a copy of a dragon that we cast. Except his name's Sarkon, so we can copy legendaries. Swashbuckler. Whenever we attack, we may sacrifice 1 or more treasures. When we do, that many creatures gain double strike until end of turn. That's nice. Urza's Incubator. Zorn for more treasures per treasure. Oh, this is that dragon that can either give us 3 treasures or exile the top 2 cards of our library. And until the end of our next turn, we can play those cards. Mana Echoes. Whenever a creature comes into play, you may add 1 to your mana pool for each creature you control of the chosen type. No, that shares a type with it. Goldlust Triad. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Apparently I really just wanted to have treasures, because some of that's kind of dumb. Goldspan Dragon, Ancient Copper Dragon, Cavern Horde Dragon. Whenever a dragon control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon with flying. Whenever a non-token dragon enters, you get a 5/5 red dragon. This thing has Myriad. That's just funny. Bahamut is a saga. Well, it's a saga because it's a summon. The first 2 chapters destroy non-land permanent. The next one's draw 2 cards, and then the 4th one never happens, but it wins you the game as long as you have a lot of mana value of stuff on the field. Darkmouth attacks and deals 11 total damage divided among 3 targets. 8, 9, 10. No, I was right. Well, no, it's 10. It is 10. 4, 3, and 3. There we go. I can math. That's whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. Cool. Terror of the Peaks. Whenever another creature enters play, this deals damage equal to that thing's power to any target. Or another dragon enters the battlefield, deals X damage to any target, X is the number of dragons you control. Alright. Raise the Palisade. Choose a creature type. Return all creatures that are not of that type to their owner's hands. Whenever you cast an adventure spell or dragon spell, deals damage with that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. And then a lot of that. Yep. And if I wasn't being so precious with the kindredness, I would put Knuckles the Kinda in here just to have a win the game card. Though I am going to search that up because I could have swore there was one that wasn't Knuckles that I put in the deck. Oh, it's mechanized production, but that doesn't really go with dragons. Oh, this guy also has Myriad. Okay, that makes things make a lot more sense. But it doesn't have haste like the Fanatics. I'm thinking getting rid of at Tushi of the Blazing Sky. Because I know they create treasure tokens on death, but that's not as cool as something else. Yes, the Balefire Dragon from the other deck. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. Yes. I know it costs 7, but this deck should be fine. And it put itself into removal. That makes sense. Okay. Oops. Oh, and did I... Oops. Yes, okay. And now one of my least favorite decks is I don't like Wyll. See, did I say these? The first one was Alora, Artisan, Thief, because of the, two things. Ganax, Feywild, Hunter, and Wyll, Frontier, Charlatan. Just fixing a little something. There we go. Nope, I had that right. Shameless Charlatan. Commander creatures you own have 2 and a blue. This creature becomes a copy of another target creature. Then Wyll, Blade of Frontiers. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a +1/+1 counter on Wyll, Blade of Frontiers. So this is a blue-red rolling dice deck. Hello, minor case of the hiccups. So what do we got? We're going to have a lot of stuff that roll dice or cares that we roll dice. Brazen Dwarf, whenever we roll more dice, Brazen Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay. Whenever enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6. Maddening Hex deals damage to that player equal to the result. Then attach Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random. Okay, that's mildly funny. Whenever Iron Mastiff attacks, roll a d20 for each player being attacked and ignore all but the highest result roll. Iron Mastiff will deal damage to us. Iron Mastiff will deal damage to defending player. And Iron Mastiff will deal damage to each opponent. Delina Wild Mage, when they attack, we roll a d20. And we can create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of a creature that we picked when we attacked. Or we can do that and roll again. Sword of Hours. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, roll a d12. If the result is greater than the damage dealt, or the result is a 12, double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. Celebrate 1000. At the beginning of combat on your turn, there's no non... We're going over here then. There we go. I probably could have fixed a different card in a different deck, but it's late. I don't feel like going back. At the beginning of combat on your turn, roll 2 6-sided dice. For each result of 1, Celebrate 1000 gets +1/+1 until end of turn. For each other result, it gains the indicated ability until end of turn. If you roll doubles, it also gains double strike until end of turn. So if you rolled 2 1s, it gets +2/+2 and double strike. Oh, and I see. And if you roll doubles for any of the other things, you get Menace and Double Strike, or Vigilance and Double Strike, Lifelink and Double Strike, Flying and Double Strike, Indestructible and Double Strike. Okay. That's actually kind of neat. Bamboozling Beeble. Come on. Protection from robots. That may... Oh, I'm hydrating. That may or may not be important to ever. One in tap. The next time, target player would roll 1 or more dice this turn. Instead, they roll that many dice +1, and you choose one of those rolls to ignore. If you roll 1 or more dice and roll that many dice +1 and ignore the lowest roll, when non-human cannonball dies, roll a 6-sided dice. If the result is 4 or less, non-human cannonball deals that much damage to you. Huh. Apparently I don't care because it rolls dice. Oh, we open an attraction, which is annoying. But attractions cause you to roll dice, so I guess that's fine. So Wyll, our frontier charlatan, owns an amusement park. I guess that's the joke. Once on each of your turn, you may pay 1 to re-roll 1 or more dice you rolled. Okay, that's once a turn. Vidalcan Squirrel Whacker. Roll a 6-sided dice twice when it enters. Its base power becomes the first, and its base is the second. If you roll 1 or more 6-sided dice, and instead roll them, and you may exchange 1 result with Vidalcan Whacker's base power, base toughness. Oh, that's neat. So you can eventually make him a 6/6 as long as you don't care about those what you were rolling for. Well, I guess that would be good when this guy dies because it's 4 or less. But no, that would be making him his stuff. If he had a 6, you'd want to do that to make it a 5. Velucan Dragon. Whenever it attacks or blocks, roll 6-sided dice, and it gets plus X plus O, where X is the result -1. Okay. I don't know why I had all these foils in there. They don't look good on the internet. Whenever Code Trigger attacks, roll a 6-sided dice, where it gets plus X power, where X is the result. Then if it has the greatest power or tied with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, draw a card. Neat. Search the room. We can pay 6, one of those being a blue, to roll a d20. And we can either draw a card or look at the top 3 cards of our library and put one of them into your hand, which isn't drawing, so that's interesting. And the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. Roll a d20 and add the number of cards in your hand. Then you can either draw X cards, or scry X, then draw X cards. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell with mana value 3 or greater, roll a d20. Each player draws a card, you draw a card, or you copy the spell, which optionally picking new targets. Whenever you roll a die, you may reveal the top card of your library. Do this only once each turn. Whenever you reveal a card with mana value less than the result this way, you may exile it. If you do, you may play it this turn. Treasure chest. You can pay 4 to sacrifice it to either lose 3 life, create 5 treasure tokens, gain 3 life, draw 3 cards, or tutor. And if you tutor an artifact, you can put it directly into the battlefield. Whenever Chaos Channeler attacks, roll a d20. Impulse draw twice. Impulse draw 3 times. Draw 2 cards, scry 2, then draw 2 cards, or scry 3, then draw 3 cards. Scry 1, scry 2, scry 3 when it enters. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Faraday, Devil's Chosen, gains flying and menace until end of turn. And then if any of those results was 10 or higher, draw a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4, scry X, where X is the result. Whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. Pay 4, tap, roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card, then shuffles the rest into their library. You may cast up to X instants and or sorcery spells from among those from cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. And X is either 1, 2, or all 3 of those cards. Assuming you're playing Commander and not something with more opponents. Roll a d20 and subtract the number of cards in your hand. If the result is 0, discard your hand. Put a card at random from your graveyard to your hand, draw 2 cards, or put a creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. When that creature dies, its owner loses the game. Huh. Roll 2d8 and choose 1. Draw cards equal to that result. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to the other result from your hand without paying its mana cost. Oh, and then the Silver Dragon. Oh, now we're on our lands. Which we put 38 in here, interestingly enough. I might have copied the previous deck's lands. I didn't look to see how many that had. But I think we can safely take out this 3-tree city because this isn't a typal deck. The Path of Ancestry is fine because we can scry when we cast our commander, and that's just amusing to me. Choose target spell or ability with 1 or more targets. Roll a d20 and add the greatest power among creatures you control. Choose new targets. Or choose new targets, then copy the spell and choose targets for the copy. Barbarian class. If you roll 1 or more dice, instead of roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest result. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, target creature control gets +2/+0 until end of, and menace until end of turn, and creatures control have haste. You pay 1 for that first thing, an additional 2 for that second thing, an additional 3 for that third thing. And since this is a class, you don't have to do that all at once. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Whenever you roll a natural 20, you can return this from a graveyard to your hand. Oh, and then we're on our ramp. Oh, Bucknard's Evernote Full Purse. 1 and tap, roll a d4, and create another treasure tokens equal to the result, and then the player to your right gains control of Bucknard's Ever Full Purse. Ebony Fly, roll a d6 until in turn it's an XX insect artifact creature token with flying, where X is the result. And when it attacks, another attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Oh, component pouch. Remove a component counter from a component pouch and add 2 mana of any color, of different colors. You can tap, roll a d20, and you can either put 1 counter on it or put 2 counters on it. Vexing Puzzle Box. Whenever you roll one or more dice, put a number of charge counters on Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. Remove 100 charge counters from Vexing Puzzle Box. Search your library for an artifact or into the battlefield and shuffle. You can also tap, add 1 mana of any color, and roll a d20. You know, just so it fuels itself. Hoarding Ogre. When it attacks, you roll d20 and either get 1 treasure token, 2 treasure tokens, or 3 treasure tokens. And our good friend the Ancient Copper Dragon. Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. When it enters the battlefield, choose a target instant sorcery spell in your graveyard, then roll a d20. Put that card on top of your library or into your hand, depending on the result. Exile target instant or sorcerer card from a graveyard. Roll a d20. Activate only as a sorcery. Copy that card. You may cast the copy. Copy that card. You may cast a copy by paying 1 rather than its mana cost. Huh. So the middle is the worst. And then copy each card exiled with Wizard Spellbook. You may cast any number of them without paying their mana cost. Oh wait, no. Cast the copy. You have to pay for it, the first one. Or cast by only paying 1 generic. Okay, never mind. Spiked Pick Trap, sacrifice it, roll a d20. And either deals damage to a creature that you targeted with that first part that I forgot to mention, or it deals the 5 damage and we get a treasure. Boing. Return target creature to its owner's hand, then roll 6-sided dice. If the result is 3 or less, scry cards equal to the result. Okay. A lot of not good cards in this deck, but I think it's fine to call this a just bracket 1 roll dice deck. I think I took one. Oh yeah, I took a land out. Choose 1. Destroy an artifact. Or roll a 6-sided die. When you do, sleight malfunction deals 1 damage to each up to X target creatures, where X is the result. Huh. Okay. Choose a number of creatures. They block if able, or you choose which creatures block that turn and how they block. Okay. Turn creature to its owner's hand. Return to the top or bottom of their library, or gain control of it until your next turn. Honestly, this is the one time I think I've heard other people say it, where rolling 20 is the worst possible answer, unless you can win the game with it. Or get rid of its controller some other way. Tap creature, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap phase. This is a creature and that's an enter's effect. Roll a d8, monstrosity X, where X is the result. Oh, and when it becomes monstrous, you destroy a permanent. That's neat. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Tap them and they don't untap during their controller's next untap step. The same, plus until the end of your next turn, creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Yeesh. 3 damage to each creature. Choose a creature. It deals 3 damage to all the creatures that wasn't the one you chose. Or 6 damage to each creature your opponents control. 2 damage to each player. 2 damage to each opponent. Oh, and then a base 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. A lot of these things, like, if I say a whole bunch of stuff, just assume that you gotta roll a d20, because I think I say it whenever it's a different dice. Exile target spell, then roll a d20 and add that spell's mana value. You cast the exile card for as long as it and then spend mana of any color. You may cast it for as long as it remains exiled. Okay. You may cast the exile's card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. Okay. Each player sacrifices a permanent. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent. Each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. That's a creature. You can tell I'm probably not too interested in this deck. If you like rolling dice and all those randomness, this is probably cool, but like, probably didn't need me to build the deck for you, I guess. Roll 2d12 and choose 1. And this deals damage equal to that result to each creature, and then we create treasures equal to the other result. Oh, Clown Car. Clown Car enters the battlefield with roll X 6-sided dice. For each odd result, we create a clown. For each even result, this gets a +1/+1 counter. Okay. So we pay X into it. And it starts off as a 1/1. So it's actually a 1/1 for 0 and crew 2. Which is funny. So you definitely want to put some into it. Unless you don't care. Like, I could see a world where you, well, not in this deck, but where you, because you want to roll dice, but where you play it for 0. And then you create a goblin, or you create a goblin and you attach this Morningstar to it, which gives +1/+0 and trample. Roll 3 6-sided dice. For each different result, we get a 1/1 white clown robot artifact creature token. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, we get a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying. Create 1 goblin, 2 goblins, or 3 goblins. And it's a 4/3 goblin by itself. And we're back to Shameless Shardless. I don't think they made any more dice cards after this, but I do have to oh, my mouse went over to my other screen. Roll to visit your attraction. That's why this isn't in the deck, because I don't care. I do have that other card that opens an attraction, and I don't remember how to visit an attraction, so that card might come out of the deck. Oh, yep, all of the attractions. Oh, Fractured Power Stone, but that's roll the planar die. That's also planar die. Oh, I even have a land. That's probably my 38th land. Pay 5, tap, exile Underdark Rift, roll a d10. Put target artifact, creature, or planeswalker into owner's library just beneath the top X cards of that library, where X is the result. Activate only as a sorcery. That makes me think that I should grab a land, but just not the one that I took out. And then Luck Bubblehead doesn't need to be in this deck because we don't have. We're not putting in the other bobbleheads. Yeah, even for the paying one to reroll one or more dice we rolled, I think we're gonna get rid of that. So we just have to find. Oh, we also have to. Here are you. Check anywhere else where I missed. I think I'll put in one land and some kind of ramp. Yeah, because the ramp section is ridiculously weak. Though the deck doesn't exactly have a high mana curve. This is also an absolute garbage deck, for the record. This is... Okay, good. It is absolutely bracket 1. I'm glad I put it there. Go up here. Let's go up to land base. Reliquary Tower? We're not drawing that many cards. Temple of Epiphany. This is by popularity. I am going to go by cycles. Yeah, I'm going to put in the Temple of Epiphany, and if there's a different dual land you like better, you do that. I'm not on syntax search. That explains. Felwar Stone, but not that one. Just on the off chance, because we don't need colorless mana. Just on the off chance someone else is playing one of our colors. And we'll do the getting over it with Bennett Foddy art. Is that his name? Foddy? I don't remember. And another, I used to make this guy the Frontier Charlatan because I just didn't like him. Because he does milling, but it is target player, so this is red blue mill ourselves. Hopefully. So, popular entertainer. Commander creatures you own have, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, goad target creature that player controls. That is... okay. So yeah, Zellix the Entertainer. Zellix Sanity Flayer. Whenever a player mills one or more creature cards, you create a 1/1 black horror creature token. Okay. And again, we are not milling other people. We will only be milling ourselves because I do not agree with milling other people. One and tap, target player mills 3 cards. So, Goblin Racketeer. Whenever Goblin Racketeer attacks, you may goad target creature defending player's control. Okay. Okay, so we just did red, blue, gold, goad, and our commander can make us mill 3 cards for some reason. This is definitely one of the dregs of the thing, because Wyll wasn't going to be mono red dice. Dice was largely is it. So this guy became is it, mostly because I didn't want the popular entertainer to go with anyone else. Go target creature. Whenever that creature attacks one of your opponents' turn, we draw a card. Okay, cool. I think this one only comes in... yeah, it only comes in foil. And that was Game Night 3, so good luck finding it. It's a $16 card. Let's see. Oh, this is another thing. Okay, so can't be blocked. It has Megamorph. So you can pay 3 generic to put it face down as a 2/2. And then you can pay blue to turn it face up and put a +1/+1 counter on it to make it a 2/2 on can't be blocked. Can't be blocked, okay. Can't be blocked. Can't be blocked. Whenever this deals combat or this or equipped creature, because it has reconfigure. So that's just equip, but the thing's a creature, so you can pay that to either equip it or unequip it. Whenever this or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, group go to each creature that player controls. Okay. During our upkeep, we scry 1. If our devotion to blue is less than 5, this is an enchantment, not a creature. It also has indestructible. And then we can pay 1 into blue to make a creature we control unblockable. When Havoc Eater enters the battlefield, for each opponent, go up to 1 target creature that player controls, and then put X +1/+1 counters on Havoc Eater, whereas the total power of creatures go to this way. That's neat. Oh, and then we're already to our lands, which we have 37. Geode Rager. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, gold each creature target player controls. Okay. And then Shadow Sphere taking up a spot. Well, I guess since we're targeting stuff, we want the ability to remove Hexproof. Then we have our Mass Disruption. Usual suspects there. I'm going to move some of these up here. This is Can't Be Blocked. Lightning Greaves, Mirror Shield. The Stealth Suit again. Psychic Papers cannot be blocked. Bothersome Quasit. Go to creatures can't block. And whenever we cast a non-creature spell, go to target creature and opponent controls. Wait, is that can't be blocked as well? Yep, that is also can't be blocked. You should go over here. I don't know if I fixed that another one. Don't care. Champion Helms, Dark Display, Mythical Propaganda, Whisper Silk Cloak. Can't be blocked. Put that in evasion. Hammer of Nazahan. Renegade Silent. At the beginning of your end step, goad up to one target creature you don't control, and then we put a +1 counter on Renegade Silent, and the Silent phases out. That's not protection. That's also not really a finisher. Coveted Peacock. You know what? We're just going to have a generic goad section. And that's not great card draw, so we're just going to put that in goad. My leg itches. Let's bring that up here so I can scratch it. Death Kiss. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks one of your opponents, double its power until end of turn. And if we can make it monstrous. And when it becomes monstrous, we goad X target creatures. I think since it's in a category by itself, I'm going to just move it to goad. Let's look at our ramp section really quick. God darn it. Okay, yeah, I gotta take my sock off for a while. So we have Baloth, Baratil, the Entertainer. Creatures your opponents control with power less than Baratil are goaded. He is only a 2/5 though. Whenever goaded attacking or blocking creature dies, we get a treasure token though. In Solemn. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a treasure token once a turn. Sacrifice a treasure, goad target creature. Considering his ability, that is less ramp and more goad. Fail to save changes. Reset. Move you from here. What do you mean? You here. here. I am me, you gigantic butt. There we go. And then Bon, Beguiling Balladeer. Each non-land Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, goad creature an opponent controls. Foretell isn't really ramping. It's just delaying the cost, so you can go up into goad. Okay, then what do we have? Life of the party. First trample haste. Life of party attacks. It gets plus X plus O until in turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. When life of the party enters the battlefield, if it's not a token, each opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. The tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. And they only have 1 toughness. Oh. But they do have first strike, trample, and haste. So that's a pretty wild set of abilities. Whew. I finally scratched my leg to my satisfaction. And then Zariel, Archduke of Avernus, really has nothing to do with goad. It's it can give creatures I control +1/+0 and haste, or we can create a 1/1 red devil that pings something for 1 when it dies, or an emblem that never happens. You get an emblem with the end of the first combat phase. Oh, you get additional combat phases. Neat. So, wow, nothing to do with milling. And I thought I was done scratching, but I was not. Like, I don't even have, I don't even have scrying or any ways to look at the top card of my deck to maybe make me think I want to mill. So it's basically like I only mill my opponents if they want me to. So that's this deck. It's a deck that are commanders only in play if popular entertainers in play. And that only goes target creatures, so yeah, this is just definitely a dregs deck. So this is Livaan, Tiamat's Fist. Flaming Fist. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike on end of turn. That is super exciting. Livaan, Cultist of Tiamat. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the target creature gets plus X plus O on end of turn, where X is that spell's mana value. Okay, so Boros non-creature spells. And then theoretically we attack with our double striking commander. Oh, and then, okay, so these all oh, okay, I see what I did. Okay, I immediately see what I did. So for Mirrodin, these are all pieces of equipment that summon a 2/2. Yes, a 2/2 red rebel creature token, and then equips itself to it. They all have different abilities that I guess we do have time to get into. So, whenever equipped creature and at least one other creature attack, draw a card. Okay. Whoops. There we go. As long as your turn, this has first strike and trample. Creatures you control that are equipped get +1/+0. Okay. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and haste. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has vigilance. And then this is job select, so it creates a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. And again, we attach the equipment to it. Equip. Hold on. Yep. Dust. No, that is not dust. That is something that I actively have to clean off my glasses. There we go. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight. In addition to its other types, and during our turn, they have flying because the dragoon's lance and they're jumping. Equipped creature has whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn and is a wizard. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature attacks, you gain a life, and it's a cleric. Oh, job select also gives it a job, and that's hilarious. +2/+1, world 1, and is a knight. +2/+2, trample, haste, and is a samurai. +2/+2, lifelink, and other commanders you control get +2/+2 and have lifelink. So we do not attach this to our commander. Though the funny thing about it is, if we somehow could turn our background into a creature, it would have +2/+2 and lifelink because it's I think the background technically counts as a commander. I don't know how that works. So, quote me on that, but only when asking other people if I'm wrong. +3/+2 and is a warrior. +2/+2 for each artifact you control and is an artificer. And okay, I think we've talked about that land before because we're on our lands now. 17 non-basic, 20 basic. And then next is the living weapons section. I'm just setting up my next jug of water. Flayer husk, +1/+1. Oh, living weapon. You create a 0/0 germ and equip this creature, and then equip the artifact to it. I see why I did this because for Mirrodin was only in white, red. Living weapon was I think it might have had some in black, but it was mostly colorless. And then job select was in all 5 colors, but you know it had enough in white and red. But yeah, 0/0 germ, and then before it dies to state-based actions, you equip the thing to it. Oh no, we had living weapon in white. Oh, I guess it would have. Whoops. It could have been in all 5 colors because, you know, it started in Mirrodin Besieged, I guess. or at least in that block. +1/+1 in flying. +1/+1 vigilance lifelink. +2/+2 flying. +4/+4 vigilance and lifelink. And you could return it to your hand by paying 3 just in case you needed another germ. That's kind of neat. +5/+5 first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. Yeesh. And then next is our mass disruption, which a lot of the same things. Oh, we have the bothersome closet as a piece of protection. This is mildly interesting. Go to creatures your opponent's control cannot block. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, go target creature an opponent controls. I see. Nettle says, don't you also have living weapon? So you should be over here. Nettlecyst is +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. That can be a lot. Sickle Slicer is living weapon with +2/+2. Bone Horde living weapon +X/+S, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Kimva's Banner is for Mirrodin, +1/+1 for each creature you control. Glad it doesn't say non-creature, because that would be garbage. +2/+2, and whenever it attacks, if it's the first combat, we get another one. Okay, that is also for Mirrodin, so. Scythe Claw, living weapon. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life, rounded up. Jeez. It's not even, shouldn't even be in pump. Anyway. +2/+4 and has reach. Oh, makes it a spider. +3/+1 in haste. I think I'm gonna get rid of this closet and try to think of what else to replace it with. Nothing. Oh no. 2 things in ramp. Whenever you activate. Equip abilities you activate if other equipment is 1 less. Equip creature has double strike. This is for Mirrodin. Wild that I did not fully. Oh. I see what happened. They ended up in mass disruption instead of for Mirrodin. But Bitter Thornness is Animus, living weapon, +1/+1, and when it attacks, we can grab basic lands from our library as if we cast Rampant Growth. So we have 13 living weapons, 9 for Mirrodin, 8 job select. I even remembered emergency exit. That's pretty sweet. Oh, Monastery Mentor to give us white monks with prowess. Maniform Hellkite to get us XX Red Dragon Illusion creatures with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent, and then X out at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, we still have 12 pieces of ramp. I can probably dump the Solemn. Because because let's be fair, my curve is kind of low, except for like some of the really high-end stuff. And we still have 11 pieces of ramp anyway, even though they're small ramp. Livaan. There are only 2 creature spells in this deck now that I took out the Solemn, and they're both over here. Other than our commander. And we have 2 spots. Because I had an idea. I'm going to get rid of both of these. Because I just had a silly idea. I'm going to save that. Making sure I hit everyone. Oh, I missed Mortar Pod, but I'm willing to bet I had a good reason. Equipped creature gets +0/+1 and has sacrificed this creature. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player. That's why I missed that one. Mortar Pod did stuff that I didn't want it to do. Idol of Oblivion, draw a card if we created a token. There was another way I was going to go. But I decided I wanted to draw some cards. Man, I kind of want Mortar Pod now. Wait. Actually missed a non-zero number of formatting cards. Why? Oh, +1/-1. That's why. for the Barbed Batter Fist. And then +1/+0. Yeah, neither of those are even as good as the Mortar thing, that at least sacrifices itself to do 1 damage. Which I might take back out again, but I was thinking that that if it had Death Touch at the time, it would at least kill the creature. But I don't know if that's still worth sacrificing it. Monk's Fist, +1/+0. Yeah, that's a little expensive. So we missed, yeah, we missed that. Okay. And that makes me feel better about... It is a sack outlet, but it costs 2 to equip. Bing, Mortar Pod. Okay. We still have 2 more spots. I think... Hour of Reckoning does have Convoke. Seven with 3 white pips is a little heavy, but, you know. Since I only have 1 non-token creature in my entire deck, may as well put it in here. And that put itself in removal, so I gotta put it over here in Mass Disruption. And what's funny is something like EDH Rec ain't going to help because they don't know I built this deck this stupid. That I decided I wanted to cast all of these equipments. And my thing is that it works on all the heroes. And it works on all the living weapons because they'll die to the state-based action after the other piece of equipment is moved. Although some of these do have a hefty equip cost, like Cauldron Complete. Oh, how many spots do I have left? 1. That how her name is? Yes. That was put into ramp. Why was it put into ramp? Oh. Okay. You may cast Orin equipment spells as they add flash, so I can cast all of my creatures on my opponent's turn. And whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a target creature control. So if I ever want to move something around. There we go. You may activate equip abilities anytime you can cast an instant. Though she is a non-token creature, I am tempted to find a spot for her in this deck. I'm going to leave this deck as is for now. Because I'm not entirely sure what other things I'd want to do to it. I like the base concept, and I'm sure I have a deck with more colors that is this concept again. And if I don't, I will definitely try to make it. Hey, anyone who's like watched enough of my stuff, did I make this deck in more colors? Living Weapon, 4 Mirrodin, Job Select, and I don't think there was any other. I was also looking for ones that didn't have any typing for it, but I decided to put the cards I put in instead. Like, this definitely needs like more card draw, obviously. 20, 29. Yeah, this has 37 artifacts that make creatures. Wait, no. I counted my basic lands. 13, 21, 29. That ain't too much. But yeah. I don't hate this deck. It's still my favorite one is still Mono Black Party. That one's great. So now we have Merchant of Bahamut. I am going to guess that this is Dragon type again. Acolyte of Bahamut. Commander creatures you own have the first dragon spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. Very nice. You may cast dragon spells and artifact spells if they had flash. Okay, so we don't have to cast our dragons on our own turn. That's always nice. Save our mana for interaction if we have any. Then we have Reflections of Lit Jar again. And the 2 mana Dragon Clone. And then what do we have here? Omen. Okay, so if we cast the sorcery, the Omen here, we shuffle this card back into our deck. That's how it's different from an adventure. So, put 3+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Or, it already has flash, but you may cast sorcery spells and dragon spells as though they had flash, so that's kind of a redundancy for our commander. And also adds sorcery in addition instead of artifacts. Megamorph, when it's turned face up, put a +1/+1 counter on each other dragon you control. So we face down for 3, and then we can turn it face up for another 7. And it's a 3/3 no matter what. And normally it costs 6, but if you just want this like garbage 2/2 in play until you get 7 mana, I guess that's what you do. Oh, Bronze Dragon, that puts, when you deal combat damage with a player, you roll a d20. And then put X +1/+1 counters on it, each up to 2 target creatures where X is the result. So they each get that number. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a number of +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control equal to that creature's toughness. Oh, wow. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Cast dragons from the top of your library. Always nice. Wilm Walker does that as well. But we have to actually say that we pick dragons, and it also costs 1 more. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if it's power 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, we take the initiative. If you don't remember the initiative, it was this whole thing that has its own dungeon. It's not important to explain right now. This thing has ward 4 as long as it's untapped. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card. Then if we have fewer than 3 cards in our hand, we draw cards equal to the difference. So to always make sure we have at least 3 cards in our hand. Kindred Discovery again. Shimmer Dragon. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, draw a card. As long as you control 4 more artifacts, this thing has hexproof. Ancient Silver to draw a bunch of cards. Great Henge. X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Tap for 2 green and you gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and you draw a card. Oh, and then now we're at our land. 37 of them. Anything we're not too impressed with? Honestly, I'm not too impressed with the counters section. I could trade all 4 of those cards out. But they're considering I see stuff from Tarkia Dragonstorm, at least the commander deck, which came out at the same time. I guess I felt I didn't have a whole lot of options, and not a whole lot of dragons came out since then anyway. There's Totek Spear again, Greaves, Shield, Boots, Helm, Plate, Coat, Propaganda, Hammer. Oh, Beltoll Dragon, what do you do? It has Megamorph. Oh, and when it turns face up, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other dragon creature you control. It's basically this one dragon again. Yeah, they're the Horde Chaser and Beltoll are the exact same thing. Megamorph. Megamorph. Only this one has hexproof. And this one has trample. Stoneforge Masterwork. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control that shares a type with it. And then whenever Skanos Dragonheart attacks, it gets... Hold on. Different part of my leg itches is now my foot. Until oh, and then it's greatest power among other dragons, right? I'll actually put the Moss Jasper in this one. I didn't put it in a different one, I don't think. That's add a color if you control any color if you control a dragon. And oh, Erd Heirloom taps for mana of any color for creatures only, but you can also give a creature with power 4 or greater trample, and whenever it deals combat to a player, we draw a card. And then Dragon's Horde, Dragon Storm Globe. Each dragon you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and you can see all of our green land-based ramp. Herald's Horn, Urza's Incubator. The green one gives it +1/+1 counters. Old Gnawbone. Broodcaller Scourge. What does this one do? Oh, wow. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of damage from your hand onto the battlefield. Oh. That may or may not ever matter. This is called Recursion, but it literally is only recurring itself. When this dies, we search our library for a dragon, put it into our hand. When Astral Dragon enters, create 2 tokens that are copies of target non-creature permanent, except for they are now 3/3 dragons with flying. Play this. It only recurs itself, and you have to sacrifice a land to do it, and pay 3 mana. I'm just gonna call this Big Donkey. Oh, and in our removal section, I see Pest Infestation, which gets rid of artifacts and enchantments and gives you those pests that die to give you 1 life. Oh, Dragon Turtle, it taps a thing. Steel Hellkite. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X whose controller was dealt damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate only once each turn. And you can also make it bigger. And then we have Bahamut again, because Bahamut's fun and cool. This is where I decided to put my Candlekeep, no, not Candlekeep Giant, but one of my Raised by Giants. Vol, Candlekeep Researcher. Vigilance. Tap. Add an amount of colorless mana equal to his toughness. Can't be spent to cast spells from our hand. So we can cast spells from exile. We can cast Val if he somehow dies after his ability resolves. We can cast Raised by Giants. We can cast from our graveyard. We can pay for abilities. Gonna drink some more water. We just cannot cast. So, like, that's a lot of options. And then Raised by Giants just means he's a 10/10. And is also a giant. So what did we do with this? Well, I see some of... So when both of those are out, he taps for 10 colorless that we cannot cast spells from our hand. Oh, we can also cast from the top of our deck with that mana. Yes. So, Sisterhood of Karn. Enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, double the number of counters on her. Sure, why not? Then we have the 13th Docta. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, she gets a... We put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. At the beginning of our end step, untap each creature you control with a counter on it. Oh, that's always nice. Walking Ballista enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. We can also pay 4, which is double the cast rate, because it would be 2 for 1, now it's 4 for 1. So with our commander, that's 2 counters with 2 colorless left over. And then we can remove counters to do 1 damage to any target. Probably one of the few times you're going to see Walking Ballista not outside of infinite life gain combo nonsense. Reality Chip lets us look at the top card of our library and cast from the top of our library. This lets us cast from the top of our library as long as we have 3 different powers among creatures we control. That's cast creature spells. We can always play lands from the top of our library with this out. Look at the top card of our library at any time, cast creatures from the top of our library, and then we can pay green and tap another 2 creatures to reveal a card from our hand or the top of our library and just put it into play if it's a creature. Fibblethip, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. Has Ward 2. The top card of your library has Plot. Oh, we can plot or foretell with that mana. That is also true. The plot card is equal to its mana value. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. And foretell, you pay 2 colorless, and it reduces its casting cost by 2. Plot, you pay its mana cost, and then it's free to cast on a later turn, obeying timing restrictions. World Tree Tribute again. Lunar Whale. Look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as the Lunar Whale is attacked that turn, you may play the top card of your library. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Oh, it has Foretell, that's why it's in the deck. Great Henge. Bloodgood Regalia for unblockability. Psychic Paper. Silver Shroud Costume. Whisper Silk Cloak. We're on our lands. But Seiju is also a disenchant. Basilisk Scholar to give an equipped creature Death Touch and Lifelink, always handy. Good old Shadow Spear again that I didn't turn into Totex Spear. I guess it just didn't feel like it anymore. Greaves, Shield, Boots, Plate, Coat, Propaganda, Hammer of Nazahan. Gives indestructible, and also when an equipment comes into play, we can equip it to a creature, like right away. Oh, Colossus Hammer and one of its skins. The equip cost is 8, but it gives +10/+10 and takes away flying. This is a cheaper alternative to our background, sort of. Equipped creature has base power and toughness 10/10, but it costs 10 to equip. Minus X, where X is the base power of it, so it costs 8 to equip. Power and toughness equal to our life total, and that's just funny in this deck. X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of historic permanents. It gives +10/+0. So basically, a lot of dumb things that if we're just feeling dumb, we can just make our commander's power higher, and just to inefficiently dump more mana into Walking Ballista, I guess. Oh, and then we can make us to the Candelabra to pay X to untap lands. Oh, that's good. That's just dumb. Soul Ring, Signet. Spells you cast from your graveyard or from exile cost 2 less to cast. Plotting cards from your hand cost 2 less. Oh, and casting Foretold cards. Oh, Adventure is also the creature part of an adventure is also casting from exile. I don't know if I have any adventures in this deck, but that was another thing. But if all of our Foretell stuff, that's an additional discount because they're being cast from exile. Farseek, North. Oh, Pyore's Follower. What do you do? Untap another permanent. So we can untap our commander to get more mana out of him for whatever reason. Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Sakura Tribe Elder, we want a Shrubbery. There have been other cards, like Avatar the Last Airbender put in one, and I think I saw another, I just forgot what it was. This isn't Ramp. This is just playing with the top card of our library reveal. This is... Hold on. This... I don't know where our... There it is. You are not Ramp. You are technically Draw. Oracle from Moldaya. Additional land. That's ramp. As long as you can. Top card of your library revealed. Lands from your top of your library. See, that's potentially ramp. Osgood. When you cast a spell, you get another one, but the second one isn't legendary. Then you can add colorless, but only to cast artifacts or activate the ability of an artifact. But I don't think that's the important part. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, investigate. Which is that little token artifact that lets us draw. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost one less. When Savvy Trader enters the battlefield, exile target permanent card from your graveyard. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Sweet. The Regalia. This gets lands out of our deck. Cast spells from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less. Oh, Berserk. Funny piece of removal. Passive Station, Punk Fight, Curse, yep, okay. Huh, Raven Form. That destroys... That exiles artifacts or creatures. Okay, but they get a bird. Oh, and it has Foretell, so we set it up at a time. Okay. And we do have things that care about... We do have a non-zero number of things that care that we foretold something. Must be blocked if able. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. Oh, and it can be foretold. And it foretells itself every time it deals damage. That isn't removal. Hold on. Unless you want to say it removes itself. Yeah, I'm just going to put in this section called Creature. Even though Walking Ballista should have a, like being burn or something. Aether Spouts, Argentum Armor, +6/+6. Whenever it attacks, destroy permanent. Ultimate Weapon. Whenever it attacks, it destroys a creature. And gives +7/+7. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, get a food. Untap 1 permanent. Or untap 2 other legendaries. Green creatures get +1/+1, and blue creatures get +1/+1. And then untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. Oh, that's cool. Yep. I think the thing is just to get as much +1/+1 counters on Walking Ballista as we can. Because it's funny. And then see what we can do. Definitely give it Death Touch and Lifelink, even though we do not have any way to put +1/+1 counters on it because it has Lifelink. But the Death Touch, just so we can zap down creatures. But yeah, no, okay, so that deck turned out cool. So now we have Wilson, Refined Crafter as the final deck. And we're nearing 2 hours, so I guess next week I'm either going to be talking about the new set, which is Strixhaven. Actually, I probably will be because I think that is coming out very soon. But there's also at least one Turtles deck that I know I didn't make. That I looked at their card again and went, oh, why did I think that was bad? And now I want to make them because I think it had a different ability than what it actually said. Like I read the card, but my brain didn't parse the card properly. Clan Crafter. Commander creatures you control have all of your artifacts are super clues. Pay 2, sacrifice an artifact, put a +1 counter on this creature, and draw a card. You know, part of that is it actually turns all of your artifacts into mutagen clues, doesn't it? Neat. Wilson can't be countered. It has Vigilant, Reach, Trample, and Ward 2. Whoops. So that's actually pretty cool. So the whole thing is make Wilson big. Also draw cards. Also make many artifacts. So let's see how we do that. We have Draft Note, founder of Latinam. Return an artifact you control to your hand, and also copy artifact spell you control. Makes sense. So for 5 mana, we can return an artifact we control. 5 plus however much it costs, and then 3 tap, copy it, so we get 2 of it. Reality Ship to cast from the top of our deck. Forensic Gadgeteer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Oh, and then investigating costs less. Oh, activated abilities of artifacts you control is 1 less. So, clues are 1, blood is 0. Not that I think there's going to be any blood in this one. Food is 1 instead of 2. In fact, oh no, it's not less than 1. Okay, final sentence explains it. That's sad for the blood that's not in this deck. Whenever we create a token, we also get a food. World Tree again. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card, and then we put a charge counter on this spacecraft. Oh, so we really only need to get it to 3. This spacecraft gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Lunar Whale again, casting from the top. Thopter Spy Network. At the beginning of your upkeep, if we control an artifact, we get a Thopter. It's a 1/1 instead of an 0/2. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control do combat damage to a player, draw a card. Vidalcan Archmage. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast artifact spells from the top of your library. Artifacts you control tap for blue, but you can only use them to cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So that last part, not super useful. Because instead of saying can't, it's an only. So we can't use that for abilities or anything. Great Henge. Speed run past the lands. Also kind of see where I stopped putting in the D&D lands. Greaves, Boots. Oh, Liberator. They count casting as flash as being protection. Artifacts and colorless spells as they have flash. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to it is greater than the power, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter. Coat, Propaganda, Shimmermere, that's also casting artifacts as they have flash. Cargo Ship. Add colorless only to cast artifact spells or activate the ability of an artifact. It's a vehicle. None of that's important. Artifacts cost 1 less. Erd Heirloom again. Founder Inspector. Artifacts cost 1 less. Tokens tap for green. That's important. Play historic lands and cast historic spells from the top of our library, and also taps for blue. Oh, that's the Crystal Skull from Assassin's Creed. Like, wow, that set gets a lot of garbage, but it has like a small handful of good cards. Buy singles, I guess. Historic spells cost one less. Solemn, the Regalia. Mirror Retriever. Whenever Mirror Retriever is put into a graveyard from play, return another target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. When Junk Diver is put into a graveyard from play, return another target artifact creature from your graveyard to your hand. So if we have a lot of mana on us, we can sacrifice them, bring the other one back, make Wilson bigger, draw a card. Scrap Trawler, that's another one. But this one says lesser mana value. But that's fine because the Mirror Retriever costs 2. Assistant is another one. Meteor Golem. Spine of Ishsa. When it enters, destroy target permanent. When it is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return it to your hand. It costs 7, but still. The Leveler. Oh, this is Hangerback Walker. This is the one that that when it dies into a bunch of 1/1 Thopters. Mirrodin Besieged. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card, discard a card. Then, if there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. Or, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a mirror. You know, whichever way. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get a Thopter. You can also sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw a card, paying 1 in a blue. Thopters get +1/+1. If one or more artifact tokens will be created under your control, you also get an artifact. You also get a Thopter. Thopter Fabricator. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you get a Thopter. If one or more tokens you would make, you get twice that many instead. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get a Thopter. Yeah, okay, so this one's cool. Especially once we got down to all the Thopter nonsense down here. Yeah, neat. Oh yeah, that was all in a section called Recursion. Look at that. Okay. We're going to close that down. And that, wow, that is it for backgrounds. We're going to hit here just so we can have a, every time. Let's see, that was backgrounds. Move to parent folder. Wait, no, grab it from here. There we go. I think next week we're finally going to show off the internet. Spiral Out. This deck is not good, for the record. And then open a new tab. I'm just previewing this. Unlisted. Because this is the one. Whenever another creature you control enters, the neutralities get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's all I read before, and I thought that was dumb. But whenever the neutrinos attack, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. Boros Blink. I did not care after reading the first part of this, but reading the second part, I'm like, oh. And then this thing becomes a 3/4. But yeah, so next week we're going to make an alliance deck. Boros Blink. See you then.